humid. But for George Washington, travel by water along the Potomac River was essential. The new federal city, dreamed the founding father, would be a great emporium for trade and become the dominant urban center of the nation. And by the way, Major, remember, we will need ample room for all our federal workers from Philadelphia. There are over 200 of them. Mr. President, said the French architect Pierre L'Enfant, I'll have a grand design. I see the capital of not merely 13 colonies and 3 million inhabitants, but of a great republic of many states and millions of citizens. I see a city of magnificent distances with broad avenues creating spaces that fill the eye and stretch the spirit. On the hill, I see a pedestal waiting for a monument, the Capitol, a structure to symbolize the power of the people. I see the great town square of a nation, the home of our culture. Washington, a city of marble monuments to men and ideas. The main idea is democracy, housed under the Capitol's rotunda. To safekeep that democracy, we send men and women to represent us in Washington.
I had to borrow the money to start the darn thing. We didn't have any big supporters. We had to go through the nomination. We didn't have any big endorsements, and my opponent had several $100,000 in the war chest, and he was very popular, and no one thought that a young guy from Waterbury who no one knew had a prayer of winning.
He is John Rowland, the Republican congressman from Connecticut, just elected at the age of 27, which makes him the youngest member of this Congress. Washington is now his second home, and his wife and daughter visit him.
John has a magnetism about him. Now, if you go to a reception with him, people stand in lines waiting to meet him. It's unbelievable. I find it pretty exciting.
A wrestler in college, he became a successful businessman and state legislator. He sees himself the representative of a baby boomer movement.
Number one, it's not a greedy or a selfish movement. It's merely one where we as young people want to go through our college, want to get an education.
Our man in Washington.
Get a master's degree or
What got him elected? Personal charm, age, philosophy, skills? The skills you can learn later, he says. Confidence comes first.
And get involved right in the legislative process. Now, it's easy to get involved.
Being involved means being in two places at the same time, here and back at home. Playing the power game, having influence and being influenced.
I started smoking a pipe 48 hours ago when the tobacco industry sent over some pipes and chewing tobacco and a bottle of wine and hats and pens and a little bit of a care package. I guess they think I'm lost down here. But it's amazing some of the weird things you'll get in the mail. You know, one day you'll get some flowers, the next day you'll get some mints, the next day you'll get a paperweight, the next day you get a pen set.
Another game is seniority, and it's played on the congressional stairs, where the hierarchy is reversed. The lower your rank, the higher your floor. So it takes more walking to join the other movers and shakers and deliver your vote on the House floor.
There's no one here keeping your marks or keeping your score. There's no one here that's keeping after you day to day. And really the only checkpoint is after 2 years when you have to go back and get reelected. So with that, you just gotta push yourself day after day and get yourself out of bed and get yourself through your day. And you know, I've said it's probably the greatest job in the world, but it's probably the craziest job in the world.
Why don't we hold the map up because we're looking down.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
So what we were arguing was the...
John associates with members of the president's cabinet. If a congressman doesn't get in and stay in, he's no help to his constituents.
A great number of people, and that's the argument. Might not be all that persuasive. Of course, I haven't even touched on...
He leaves generally on Monday mornings, sometimes Tuesday mornings, and stays through Thursday night. And I see him on Thursday nights and then sometimes on Sunday nights. If he wanted to run for presidency, I'd support him all the way. But that's 20 years from now, and that's fine with me, I mean. But I'd love to see him do it. Why not?
Chin up just a bit.
Michael Evans is a former White House photographer. People and Power is the title of his latest photographic exhibit.
Okay, I want you to look a little more stern for this one. No, well, not quite that stern. There you go, good.
Stern, huh?
Well, no, just bring it down just a bit. There we go, good. How's Jack Kemp doing in your district?
He's doing very well in Connecticut. Very well received, young conservative, and even though it's Bush country, I think he's going to do very well.
That's great.
We had Jerry Ford come in a week before that for a fundraiser, so everything happened at once.
So what was your margin of victory?
About 22,000 votes, about almost 55% of the total vote.
That's, well, in Republican terms, for that part of the world, the landslide. What I call a pleasantly intelligent look. I sort of want a twinkle in the eye. I've found, it's been my experience in Washington that smiles tend to hide more than they reveal.
How do you get the president's twinkle in his eye?
That comes with the package. Now, your head has to come, not quite that much. Good, good, excellent. Chin up just a bit, good. There we go. Fine, upstanding representative of American democracy. That's good, good, that's good.
Democracy is the ability of citizens to govern themselves through partisan debate. The mood today is very partisan, says John Rowland, as the Republicans walk out of the House of Representatives protesting the seating of a Democrat elected amid controversy.
A matter of supporting the Constitution and the ideals that this country was founded on, and that is indeed what the Republican Conference is doing here today.
Oh, this is a heady town. You know that when I was sworn into the Congress of the United States, had only been in the United States Capitol once, and that was...
Stuart McKinney, a veteran congressman from Connecticut and Rowland's political godfather.
I still am appalled. I was vote against the president on the MX missile, and I was called down to the Oval Office for an 18-hour woodshed thing, and I had to sit there and say no to the president of the United States. That's heavy stuff. The fact of the matter is, it's a very heady town. You could go out every night.
Potomac fever, we call it.
And it's called the river disease, and you forget your constituency, you become academic to them, and you say, well, we're solving it all in Washington. They know you're not. If you were solving it in Washington, there wouldn't be a debt crisis, there wouldn't be a Central American crisis, there wouldn't be a lot of other things. I happen to have a wife who hates Washington with a passion. She is not into city living, she's into horses and blue jeans and sweatshirts, and so we live two different lives. And she has her horses and her business, and I have Congress, and then we meet on the weekends, and if we're really lucky, like we're going to be on August 2nd, we get in a car and we drive up to Hyannisport, and we forget her life and my life, and we just enjoy each other.
Where's your shoes? Where's your shoes? Where's your shoes? Huh? Where's your shoes, sweetie pie?
She lost one.
How are you? Were you walking around in the grass with Mommy? Yeah. How's my little girl? How's my little girl? What are you doing with the sweater on? It's nice out. What are you doing with the sweater on? Yeah. What are you doing with the sweater? You've been drooling. You've been drooling. Yeah. Are you walking around today? With your shoes off? Yeah. Another couple of weeks, you're going to be walking. We won't be able to find you. Yeah. That's right. So she took her shoes off by herself?
Well, yeah, and then she lost one, so I have to go find it.
Oh, you don't want to walk anymore, huh? You want to play. Was Mommy throwing you around? Woo! Woo!
Are you in fishing now?
Huh?
Are you in fishing now?
Yeah, we got some boats coming out. But we had a couple of meetings and so forth.
That's
Not too bad. You know, we've got about 3 dinners to go to tonight.
Yeah?
And I got to fly out by 7.
By 7?
I got to fly out at 8.
Oh.
So maybe, will you go to one of the dinners by yourself?
My friend's coming in from Massachusetts.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Mariella.
John lives in Washington, his family in Waterbury, 500 miles away. They are only here for the day. Separation for this family goes with the job, the price he pays for his dream.
Every weekday evening, Larry King Live on CNN is your chance to join television's hottest live hour-long call-in show. Larry King Live, every weekday evening at 9 Eastern on CNN.
United Van Lines, the mover for all reasons. And now there are more reasons than ever for making United your mover. Whether it's moving your family, relocating your business, or shipping high-value products anywhere in the world, your nearby United Van Lines agent is the professional you can count on. For business or treasure, call the one moving company with a golden guarantee of quality service. United Van Lines, the mover for all reasons. Look for your local United agent in the Yellow Pages.
Honda Civic hatchback. Fall in love without paying the price.
Mom, first you tell us kids we grow up too fast. Then you give us our grown-up diet drink. Does that make any sense? No! We want our own sugar-free drink. Sugar-free Kool-Aid. The only one with that Kool-Aid taste that's like so cool.
And with vitamin C and 100% NutraSweet.
Didn't you love Kool-Aid when you were kids just like us?
Kool-Aid! It's the one sugar-free for kids.
You're a part of me, Purina Cat Chow.
Your cat's a big part of your life, so make Purina Cat Chow brand cat food part of his life. It's all the nutrition cats need to help them live healthier, happier lives.
Chuckwagon brand dog food from Purina is here.
Yeah, good dog.
With a hearty stick-to-the-ribs real meat gravy your dog will love.
Chuckwagon gravy is here.
Sunday and Monday on Explorer. Climb mountains high above the Sahara. Swim through forests of coral. Challenge the waves on the deadly Cornish coast. You'll find these great adventures and more on Explorer. Sunday at 8:05 and Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the Superstation.
Washington, the city of national pilgrimage, that each year plays host to some 14 million Americans. The cherry blossoms call us in to discover and rediscover the capital city. With so many people claiming Washington as their adopted national home, how about those who live here? In every other place, one's hometown is one's own. Washingtonians have to run for it. They even call their annual marathon the hometown run. In the shadow of monuments, 750,000 people work, sleep, and eat. They come from all over the country. Their home is where their fruit and vegetables are. So after their first 5 years in Washington, they think of themselves as natives. Who are they? Poor relations living downstairs while the upstairs belongs to the government? Not that they object to all the presents from Uncle Sam, like this restored post office, their favorite meeting place. That's fine. But how about the state of Columbia, controlled by the people, instead of a district controlled by Congress? The statehood idea is alive here behind the Anacostia River, where small-town southern pageantry rivals that of Pennsylvania Avenue 100 blocks away. Forgotten Washington, they call themselves.
Parade, prayer. Breathe our dance, hut. Ceremonial at ease.
Down the sergeant's on my back. It took away my Chevrolet. Took away my Chevrolet. Now I'm watching every day. Now I'm watching every day.
The city where even neighborhood baseball is played by national teams. One made of House Republicans, another of House Democrats, led by Walter Fauntleroy, the non-voting congressman from Washington. In Congress, he leads the campaign for statehood, arguing that Washington is the last colony and that taxation without representation is just plain un-American.
Following that, I intend to begin to move this measure through the legislative process in the Congress.
Politics and religion blend well in Washington, especially when your congressman is your pastor. This Baptist church belongs to Washington's black elite. For over a century, this city attracted Southern blacks as the Mecca of freedom and prosperity. Second in per capita income in the nation, Washington became the city of black success.
My little sister, Heather Hammond, on profession of your faith, and now in accordance with the Scripture, I baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Early morning in the home of Virginia Foster Lee.
My best friend.
At 5 a.m., her daughter drives a 79-year-old mother to work.
I have an unusually good daughter, which I think very few people have in life. She gets up in the morning at 4 o'clock, when she doesn't have to be to work till 9, and she's been doing that for 20 years. Close the door.
For 33 years, Virginia has been a waitress in the Mayflower Hotel.
Would you like some help up to your room?
One of the famous places providing jobs for hometown Washington, where service is the second biggest industry. The government is first. Virginia has opinions on service born of 3 decades of work.
Fresh shrimp pasta salad. Chicken filet tempura is very good.
Lemon wedges on
To me, one of the most important things is to greet your guest and to please your guest. And if you make your guest happy, then you've made everybody happy. But if you displease your guest, you're just in bad shape, that's all. It's the working class of people that tip you well. That's almost unbelievable, but it's true. I know because I've waited on lots of celebrities, and very few of them ever tip well. Very few.
You have to remember, you have to put the headlight on.
After her day shift at the Mayflower, Virginia goes to her second job at a suburban seafood restaurant.
Sue, I had 2 broiled crab cakes. Huh?
Of the $30,000 she earns between the 2 jobs, she gives 20% to charity.
Enjoy it, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia.
Virginia Foster Lee, age 79, won the Washington Hospitality Award. Her daughter was among the guests.
A native Washingtonian, Virginia's love for the city, its guests, and its goings-on have earned her respect and admiration from her colleagues, her visiting patrons, and virtually everyone she meets. Over the years, she has served the likes of Harry Truman, Pat Nixon, John Wayne, and J. Edgar Hoover.
I believe in working hard,
Crystal Light is my kind of soft drink. It's lighter, goes down easy, doesn't fill me up, and I love the taste.
Crystal Light Diet Soft Drink mix all these natural flavors with 100% NutraSweet.
And only 4 calories.
I believe in Crystal Light, 'cause I believe in me.
This week, we're previewing 3 hot new releases from Lean Cuisine.
And what a delicious lineup it is, food fans.
Tuna lasagna with spinach noodles.
Veal Primavera positively vibrant.
And a tempestuous turkey Dijon.
And as usual, Stouffer's Lean Cuisine brought each one in for less than 300 calories.
But it's the taste that'll make these new Lean Cuisine entrees big hits.
Get in line right now.
I'm on my way.
Good?
3 new Lean Cuisine entrees from Stouffer's.
This is Mr. James Burke in his Honda Civic. And these are the Burke boys. People say they sure take after their dad, right down to the cars they drive, all Hondas, which just goes to prove the old saying, like father, like son, and son, and son, and son.
I almost ran out of new tin fiddles. Good thing I found Roscoe's favorite new flavor, country dinner. Now he never has to know. Up a little early this morning, huh, boss?
New Tender Vittles brand cat food, now with more meat, fish, and chicken, and 3 new easy-to-please flavors.
Oh, dear doggy, I have kibbles. Look, this is Purina kibbles and chunks. Kibbles taste better when they come with chunks.
Purina brand kibbles and chunks dog food.
Better with chunks? Better with chunks.
Man is by nature a political animal, wrote Aristotle. Washington politics snakes through the city like the Potomac River, shiny on top, murky underneath, swift, cold, and sometimes a little fishy smelling. Fortunately, politicians are not alone in Washington. Politicking has gone to the streets.
Ronald Reagan lives in the White House.
Stop racist deportation. Working people have no nation. System we currently live under. It doesn't work. The only solution is communist revolution. The only solution is the communist revolution.
I said at least the people have the freedom to demonstrate as they're doing now.
Join Progressive Labor Party.
Marshal Oligarchov!
This is not the Soviet Union.
Marshal Oligarchov, is this your first visit to Washington?
Oh, I come here very often. I'm here practically every week. Barbara, I have come to give great order. Hero of Soviet Empire, first class to United States Congress. Because they did such a wonderful job for Mother Russia. For Mother Russia. So this is for Congress.
In Afghanistan, My Lais happen every day, and the officer in charge is not court-martialed like Lieutenant Kelly, but is decorated for heroism and promoted. He receives the Red Star of Courage and the Order of Lenin. For some reason, American editors consider Afghanistan not to be a story.
Since the large anteroom near the English House of Commons became known as the lobby, the people influencing legislative votes and governmental decisions have been known as lobbyists.
Oh, you know, like,
The politicians call them buyers of votes and sellers of public welfare, but they acknowledge their value as a source of information about constituencies. Here, sir, the people govern, said Alexander Hamilton of the Capitol, the citadel of democracy. Others called the White Dome the spirit of America in stone. A place to make contact is on the Capitol steps before or after your congressman casts his vote.
have you voted?
We're at the ladies here, I appreciate you talking. I assume you want to
He may be as interested in meeting you as you are in meeting him. He wants to be reelected, like John Rowland, our freshman congressman from Connecticut.
Okay, you still feel about your position that you do not vote continually Reagan administration?
The access
policies,
game.
What you talked about is in Waterbury and then with the MX missile. So how do you
A group of
rationalize
home state teachers come to verify campaign promises kept and broken.
I made a campaign promise to support the MX. So I don't know why the heck anybody is surprised about the MX missile vote. That's number one. Number two, and I've said this 100 times before, I don't care what the rest of the Connecticut delegation is going to do. I'm going to vote my conscience and vote my district. I don't know why the education community is concerned about the MX missile. I think you've got some other concern you should worry about.
If we are able to get your constituent changed around or get letters to you on the tuition tax credit issue, which is also what you campaigned on, will you then consider, yes, in favor of it, not opposed, would you then consider reconsidering your position and changing on that issue?
Quite frankly, we're going to have some severe problems even discussing it. It's a philosophical stand of mine, but push comes to shove, it's going to be a very difficult thing to support in the Congress with a $200 billion deficit. But anyway, I gotta go to about 3 more functions. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go speak to some students. We'll see you later.
I'll see you about that. Representative Fuquay from the state of Florida.
Potomac fever.
Representative John Rowland from Connecticut.
On the congressman's agenda, at least 3 parties start at the same time. Is the Drug Retailers Association party more important than the one by the Citizens for Better Soil coalition? How long should I stay?
Pennsylvania, Representative Murphy from Pennsylvania.
Someone called the Washington Party Circuit the 3rd chamber of Congress. One tries to catch important people at the end of the working day when they need to unwind. 5:30 to 8 works best for cocktails. Dinner is at 8 and will be over at 11 p.m., which is Washington's bedtime, because tomorrow it all begins again. Whether you honor or salute, open or close, say hello or goodbye, the purpose is to mix a people cocktail, gently stirred, not shaken. The food had better be good. Even if you are a fast food corporation lobbying for lower minimum wages, you do not slam down your famed double burger with onion rings at a congressional reception. Unless you happen to hide in the pool for the last hour, your access to the annual Democratic fundraising dinner will cost you $1,000 a plate. Time is so expensive here that you forget cocktails, food, and pleasure all together and get to work. Look how much good your left hand can produce if it's on the right shoulder. $5,000 a plate gets you to the Republican fundraiser at the Washington Convention Center. Here, a Capitol replica is made of cardboard, and the president is in attendance. Stakes are high in the political casino.
Light is my kind of soft drink. It's lighter, goes down easy, doesn't fill me up, and I love the taste.
Crystal Light Diet Soft Drink mix all these natural flavors with 100% NutraSweet.
And only 4 calories.
I believe in Crystal Light, 'cause I believe in me.
Is this the key to your car? If so, consider the Honda Civic DX hatchback. It's full of space. The key is its long lines and innovative engineering. It keeps you from feeling packed in. Even the rear seats slide back and recline. You know, this small car is so big, it's simply uncanny.
Been
Beneath the hills of western Pennsylvania, in a labyrinth of limestone tunnels, farmers attend to the delicacy of kings, mushrooms. Stoufus calls them moonlight miracles. From the place where it is always night and always springtime, they come plump and flavor-filled. Now you know one of the reasons why Stouffer's escalloped chicken and noodles with mushrooms is as good as can be.
Gravy, 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 it's chuck wagon gravy. Chuck wagon gravy is here. The big taste of gravy. Chuck wagon's bringing gravy. Chuck wagon gravy is here.
Chuck Wagon has a rich, thick, real meat gravy. A hearty, stick-to-the-ribs gravy your dog will love. Chuck Wagon brand dog food from Purina with real meat gravy.
Chuck wagon gravy is here.
The insurance crisis is now affecting everything from roller coasters to public schools, obstetricians to pony rides. Join CNN for a special series of reports on insurance starting Monday.
Sunday and Monday on Explorer. Climb mountains high above the Sahara. Swim through forests of coral. Challenge the waves on the deadly Cornish coast. You'll find these great adventures and more on Explorer. Sunday at 8:05 and Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the Superstation.
Dale Robinson came to Washington from Columbus, Ohio. Dale is a union organizer for a National Teachers Association.
Dale, actually, why don't we have breakfast out on the porch? The sun's up and it's a little bit warmer out there now.
Oh, okay.
His wife, Phyllis, is from St. Louis. She teaches elementary school.
I've been to so many cities where they're all vanilla. You go to Omaha, Nebraska, you go to Boise, Idaho, Salt Lake City, Laramie, Wyoming, they're all vanilla. But you come to D.C., and you arrive at the chocolate city. And my gracious, it works. What kind of cheese you used this morning?
Swiss and caraway seed cheese, so you may have them.
Have they got your contracted right to get your taxes deducted out of your paycheck yet?
Yes, but the board keeps saying that the only way that they can do it is when they put it into the computer, and they haven't put it into the computer yet.
Our savings and loan had a merger with some bank in Virginia.
Not one of those.
I don't know. That's the first thing I'm going to check. I'm going to check whether it's got FSLIC. If not, I'll be over there with my little aluminum chair standing in line with them little old ladies with blue hair.
Their affluent black neighborhood is called the Gold Coast.
Here we have a judge. Here's a doctor's home. And back here in the trees, there's the lady who made the fake diamonds famous. Well, she's my neighbor right around the corner, right up there in the trees. And interesting also, years ago when the neighborhood was white and they had covenants that black folks couldn't move in, one of the first persons to try to break the neighborhood was Stokely Carmichael, who wanted to purchase one of the houses on the hill. I once had a couple of visitors, and one of them said something to me, who's got a pickup truck in Washington, D.C.? Nobody that I know of. Government is not boxed up and carried around in a pickup truck. You carry it around in your brain, you carry it around in a briefcase, you carry it around in a piece of microfilm, you carry it around in a spy attaché case, and you stick it in a chewing gum wrapper, and you stick it under a seat, and some Russian comes and grabs it. But what Russian's gonna drive down M Street with a pickup truck and take a whole file cabinet away? That's how come I'm so fat, stopping right there. That's my bakery, and I'll get my half a dozen of chocolate chip cookies. And I'll go down, put my clothes in the cleaners, and just take it easy along the street. You might see anybody along this street from any country. Now, this is a neighborhood where you might find a little Chinese kid playing with a kid from Honduras, and the kid who's getting into all the difficulty is the one who's a Washington native. He's only been here 4 years old.
Washington and the world live side by side. If you are a child in the Washington's public schools Adopt an Embassy program, you spend 6 months learning a French love song, and when you're ready, you call the ambassador.
La vie est belle, dites-moi pourquoi. La vie est gaie, dites-moi pourquoi. Chère mademoiselle, est-ce que parce que vous m'aimez? Dites-moi pourquoi. La vie est belle, dites-moi pourquoi. La vie est gaie, dites-moi pourquoi. Chère mademoiselle, est-ce que parce que vous m'aimez?
Bravo. I think you speak French correctly, and you can speak French now, no?
This is a picture of French flag in the France.
Merci beaucoup. C'est très gentil.
On the stairs to Pakistan, you learn that the rest of the world likes to shake hands.
Please go ahead. Welcome, welcome.
Shake his hand.
Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. This is a typical Pakistani lady's dress.
This veil is called dupatta. This is kameez, the dress. And the bottom is called shalwar. And same thing is the lady, but lady have kind of fitting in their shirt. Men's, they wear loose dress.
By the time you reach Guatemala, you refine your diplomatic education with a kiss.
Right ahead. Right ahead.
Get it, Bob. Get it. Get it, Bob. You got to get it. Okay, wait a minute. Now go ahead and hit. Hit.
Everybody likes this country. Now, this is the Italian embassy. This is the meeting room of the Italian embassy. You see how big it is? And you studied Renaissance painting, haven't you?
Music goes everywhere with Italy.
We have what is called a democracy. This means
Growing up with the Capitol in your backyard is enlightening for Washington's youth. Is the government that governs less a better government? Asks the 15-year-old debater.
democracy, where everyone can become a part of the agency through hiring practices, where everyone can be elected into the government, and where everyone can form their own special interest groups. So we see 3 ways into each of the joints of the Iron Triangle, which makes it totally useless.
So you're saying the average Joe off the street, let's say who's making $30,000, can get elected into Congress very easily?
Very easily?
The average Joe cannot do it.
It's never easy to get elected.
Right.
I didn't
so
say
what
that
I'm
the path
saying
was easy.
To be in the Iron Triangle, you have to have wealth.
No,
Oh,
not
saying,
true.
You're telling me
not
a congressman in
Randall
on
Robinson
Capitol,
is not a rich man,
give
but
me
he
a congressman
continues.
who's making under $10,000.
I don't have to give you
me a congressman who's on welfare.
I don't have to give
Can
you
you give me
a
one?
congressman.
Give me one? Give me one. Just one.
I can give you members of special interest groups have had definite impact on America
Who
and who
has
do
been on
make
welfare?
under 10,000. Yes.
Sunday in Rock Creek Park, Dale Robinson makes friends. They talk church and business.
Did you see that story in Ebony magazine? And did you see that 92-room house that Amway did? Woo! Well, now that's a whole lot of house, and that's a whole lot of work behind it, but they deserve it.
Our best year has been in the neighborhood of about $50,000.
Oh, what's the one over?
St. Augustine. The pastor of Canaan Baptist is Reverend Mills.
No, Reverend Mills died about 6 or maybe 8 years ago.
Mhm.
You know, he was ill such a long time, and we loved him so much that he preached until he died.
Well, his kids and I came along together.
Oh, Medrick and
Tommy,
and the sister, what's her
sister?
Marion.
Marion.
I might still be here, I might be home, but I'm not going down. Well, I went to, I really haven't traveled that much, but I've been to Boston.
And so goes life in the chocolate city, as Dale Robinson calls Washington, the Black Town.
Ma, what are you doing here?
It's your birthday, isn't it?
I'm not a kid anymore.
Well, I am.
People can't help but help themselves.
People can't help but help themselves.
When it's Duncan Hines yellow cake, it bakes up irresistibly moist. See how moist and smooth our batter is? And our moist batter makes a moist cake. So moist, it even clings to this fork.
Hey, I didn't get any.
This one's for you, big guy.
Oh, Ma, you're the best.
Delicious way to make your best Duncan Hines.
Our Duncan Hines frostings are so smooth and creamy, everyone takes swipes at us.
Boston, a city that feasts off the sea. It's home to world-famous Maison Robert. Tonight, we're secretly replacing the restaurant's freshly ground coffees with mountain-grown decaffeinated Folgers crystals. Will it be rich enough? Let's watch.
It tastes like fresh brewed coffee.
Rich. It smells good.
Coffee is delicious.
It's just a nice, smooth tasting coffee.
It's the caffeinated Folgers crystals.
Is it real? It's instant coffee. No kidding. Are you serious, really?
I'd serve this to anyone, and it would be easy.
I drink coffee every day. I mean, it just tastes like it's been brewed.
Mountain-grown decaffeinated Folgers crystals. Coffee rich enough to be served in America's finest restaurants.
We have to talk about this. I think you need variety in your menu. So I have kibbles. Oh, dear doggy, this is Purina kibbles and chunks. Kibbles taste better when they come with chunks. Crunchy kibbles, chewy chunks, yum.
Purina brand Kibbles and Chunks dog food. 2 kinds of crunchy kibbles taste better with 2 chewy chunks.
What do you say? Purina kibbles and chunks? Better with chunks? Better with chunks.
Stay with the Superstation and take your seat ringside for hard-hitting competition on the best of World Championship Wrestling. Next on Superstation WTBS. Portrait of America has been brought to you by rich, delicious, mountain-grown Folgers Crystals. Sugar-free Kool-Aid brand soft drink mix, the one sugar-free for kids. Ralston Purina Company of Checkerboard Square. And by Stouffer's Entrees and Lean Cuisine Entrees. Quality, variety, and great taste.
Hello? Oh, hello.
Washington is the only town in the world where sound travels faster than light. Everybody gossips, high and low. Nowhere else is the pleasure of knowing what you are not supposed to know more delicious. Washingtonian gossip columnist Diana McClellan calls herself the ear on Washington.
And the horse. I remember we had a congressman from Oklahoma who had as I believe, a heart-shaped waterbed. Well, that's all very well in Washington, but if you write about it and they read about it in Oklahoma, which is heavily Baptist, very religious, and this is a moral majority congressman, he's not going to be popular at all. One of the things that's fairly frequent here is remarriages. Dumping of an old wife and acquisition of a new one. This always happens in August in Washington, because August is when Washington is closed. So what people will do is they will vanish at the end of July and come back at the beginning of September with a completely new spouse. And nothing is said about it. Somebody might say, so-and-so's wife is looking awfully good. The Supreme Court is the hardest one to penetrate. Even when one justice did the old wife swap number, he did it at the wrong time of year, as I recall, and did indeed get caught. His new wife also had an ex-spouse who said, if he'd been a truck driver, I would have beaten the out of him. I've had notes slipped to me on napkins at dinner parties. I've had people slide things under the door in the ladies' room. I've had, of course, lots and lots of phone calls of all kinds, people disguising their voices. I've had people call me and pretend to be someone else gossiping about themselves. If somebody who wishes a positive thing about themselves. That's usually women, oddly enough. How do they fight me back? I don't think they bother anymore. I think they just accept it. Besides, I'm rather nice, you know. If I have a real deadly thrust, I try to soften it a little bit. You can't survive in Washington if you're a real bitch.
In Washington, the media town, information is the highest commodity next to power. Using modern technology to move words and images at an unprecedented speed, the press is the watchdog of democracy and part of the checks and balance system.
Marilyn, you mentioned transportation aid with Bradley. The lawyer's role in arms control, and we haven't really looked at it.
Politics happens on the screen.
Does anybody want to add something to that?
I can understand why you're getting tired of taking the heat, and frankly, I don't think you ought to take the heat for administration programs. They are administration programs. And that's why when I'm asking you this, does the president propose to abolish the Small Business Administration, I would have thought you'd say, yeah, that's the president's proposal.
It's not David Stockett's proposal. It's the president's proposal. Senator President, respond. So let me ask question.
Delighted to report that the political machine is alive and well on the floor of the House of Representatives. Mr. Speaker, you know how to win votes the old-fashioned way. You steal them.
I heard John tell this story, and I'll probably botch it, but John said, hell, I don't want to go to Congress. And Barry said, don't worry, you won't.
So that if any of them plan to vote against the legislation that you're going to come up with, they're going to have to feel real uncomfortable and know that they just might not get elected next time. And we promise that we're going to do that, and I hope the people at home do too.
It is now legal for people to go into those clinics.
It's still immoral.
That is your decision,
No,
Stuart.
that's God's decision. Thou shalt not kill is not my decision.
But again, I mean, this is a country that Jefferson said was big enough for more than one opinion.
The White House is the place where the press never goes to sleep. Over 200 reporters, photographers, and technicians camp in the White House press room around the clock.
We were going to bomb Qum or other targets in Iran if they touched a hair of the head of those hostages.
You're once again falling into the trap of saying things that aren't so. First of all, you misquote the story. Second of all, you don't have any idea what the president's...
Well, I'm asking about the president. Words to that effect. No, you're right. I don't have the story right in front of me, but...
I do.
All right, what are the exact words?
Read it for us. Well, the Wired thing says that President Reagan is prepared to order the bombing of Qum or other selected targets if any of the 4 American hostages are murdered.
First comment, no comment on any alleged contingency.
Andrea Mitchell is from NBC News.
Very, very careful in picking up the conclusions that are outlined in this story.
Well, by careful, do you mean you would steer us away from it or simply do what all reporters ought to do always and be careful about what they write?
I would check your sources independently before you go running with the story.
Well, your source. Give us the...
Larry, do we have any information that any of the hostages have been moved into Iran?
We're not discussing the hostages. As you know, we're working very diligently to see that we can secure their release.
The administration changing its position on the 40 or the 50? Or on,
we've indicated that we
yeah,
go
but
along with, but also...
I've got the Jennifer text.
Yeah, right.
Answering reporters' questions is not the most favored White House way of dealing with the press. They prefer what they call the photo opportunity. While keeping the media pack at a nice distance, images are tailored to specifications.
James M. Stewart. James Maitland Stewart arrived in Hollywood in 1935, an American boy who grew to a glorious man.
They are using us, and we are using them, and so goes the show, says Andrea.
The public perception is Sam Nunn wanted 40 missiles. You guys said you wanted the 100. Now you're agreeing to 50 missiles. I mean, isn't the perception going to be that Ronald Reagan has lost another one on Capitol Hill?
No, actually, what I did was I've got one of these spots on.
Thank you.
Another photo opportunity. This time for 3 minutes only, 3 feet away from the president and his guest, a college basketball star.
How are you? Very nice to meet you. Oh, good to see you.
This is my mother.
Hello there.
This is my sister Laura.
Hello. Nice to see you.
My grandmother Elsie.
Hello there.
This is my father Bob,
Hi.
president.
Hi. How are you?
This is my wife, my wife.
Hello there.
And
Good to see you. Well, I know that a few people here were very helpful in our campaign. The athletes, Reagan Bush appreciate it very much.
Washington, the 4th of July. While the president and his family are busy barbecuing, another man thinks of himself as being in charge. George Zambelli, nicknamed Boom Boom, the son of Italian immigrants, brings 16 tons of fireworks and blows them up into the sky.
Dad let us go out to the plant and hang around. At first, he didn't want us to get involved because, hey, he wanted to make sure you were going to like it. And he waited to a certain age, namely about 8 or 9, then he let us do what we wanted to.
If you want to rock and roll, I'm serious.
Washington, the city of law and order, tired of its everyday's seriousness, puts on special makeup for the nation's celebration of independence. The 10-mile square designated by the founding fathers as the seat of government becomes a huge picnic ground for Washingtonians. In the name of patriotic spirit and to accommodate a crowd of 500,000, all the traffic and parking laws must be taken very lightly, and the safe return home after midnight must be entrusted to a supreme being, rather than to the city police. And as if the 16 tons of fireworks is not enough, the featured band, 3 hours late, is on its way to the Washington Memorial. I live in a small town in Pennsylvania, says George Boom Boom Zambelli. For 26 years I have come to Washington on the 4th of July, but I still get goosebumps when these things go off over the Potomac. A lot of us get goosebumps in Washington, where the explosive light of democracy still reflects its beauty from the shining stone and marble of our nation's robust capital. Is there life after Washington? One congressman asked. Well, I'll give you the answer, he said. I don't know. I'm Hal Holbrook. Join us again for another Portrait of America.
Portrait of America, a comprehensive learning system, is available for classroom use from Raintree Publishers. For information about this video encyclopedia, call Raintree toll-free, 1-800-558-1580. That's 1-800-558-1580.